All right, ladies and gentlemen, due to the impending hype of the release of Grendizer U, the long-awaited first anime remake of Grendizer, the first anime sponsored by the extremely generous land barons of Saudi Arabia, I decided, fuck it, it's time for me to sit down and watch the original Grendizer in its full glory. So today I'm going to review the first episode of Grendizer, and if people like this, I'll consider reviewing the other 74. This is a long freaking anime, because they used to make them long. Now, if they don't like this, then screw it. I'll just watch it later on my own, and maybe I'll talk about it later when the remake comes out. Now, backstory of where I'm at in my brain. I've seen the entirety of the two most recent MAXXXX reboots. MAXXXX, the one that was out in the early 2000s, and the more recent, more awesome MAXXXX Z Impact chapter, which everyone should see if you at all care for this franchise. I have not sat through the original 200 episodes of 70s Great MAXXXX and 70s MAXXXX Z, but I have seen a handful of movies, so I kind of get the tone. I've seen a handful of video games, and I've read the original manga that are honestly shockingly fast reads. So I basically know enough about the original MAXXXX. I feel like I just haven't seen like the particular episode where like Koji saves Christmas or whatever. Now, coming into this blind, I think the only thing you need to know before the first episode is that once upon a time, there was a boy named Koji Kabuto who once piloted a robot named MAXXXX Z, and he once saved the world for Dr. Hell. But unfortunately, that was like a couple of years ago, and now that boy has become a man. And as a man, he is awkward and unsatisfied with his lot in life. And that brings us to Grendizer. Okay, so episode 1, Grendizer. Starts with a banger of a song about how it's a UFO and a robot, and it has a lot of pretty great art of Grendizer ruling over space with his UFO spacer and having a ridiculous number of seat rotations to reach its cockpit. The first episode is called Koji Kabuto and Duke Freed. It starts with a space aerial shot of Hokkaido that looks suspiciously similar to the one I caught of Saudi Arabia in the trailer for Grendizer U. We see this strange UFO, but actually it's not a UFO. It's a plane shaped like a UFO piloted by Koji Kabuto in the stupidest outfit we've ever seen him wear. This outfit instantly says, I'm Koji Kabuto and I'm past my prime. Anyway, Koji Kabuto declares that his UFO is a TFO, and then he sees another UFO and he's like, I'm going to chase that UFO. The UFOs wobble around each other aggressively, and Koji eventually gets pissed off that the TFO sucks and is hard to maneuver. Anyway, he panics because suddenly he realized that he's chasing a UFO. That means UFOs are real, and if UFOs are real, that means aliens are real. He flies past Mount Fuji, and he has a sad flashback to his days piloting MAXXXX Z, but then he realizes that those days are over because Koji Kabuto apparently lost his job as the MAXXXX Z pilot. Damn, Koji. Job loss is a tragedy. I feel so real right now. Anyway, so he has to get over that because he has a new job, and his new job is flying this TFO thing. It's boring, it's infinitely weaker than MAXXXX, and Koji is subconsciously aware at how big a downgrade this thing is. Hard cut to some men at the Space Research Center. These men are telling Koji what to do with the alien he's engaged in. Then hard cut to a ranch. At a ranch somewhere, Daisuke Uman is a rancher, ranching his ranch. He has a donkey, he has a girlfriend, he has an annoying sidekick. And his girlfriend's dad is friggin' Danpei from Cutie Honey. The hell's up with that? Anyway, Danpei believes strongly in the existence of alien and has decided that he wants to meet them. His daughter Hikaru says that that's extremely dumb and dangerous. Danpei then sees the TFO and thinks that's it, that's his golden ticket. He beckons it over like it's a dog, and then gets so stoked to see the TFO that he falls off the roof. The TFO lands in front of the ranch, and everyone takes it surprisingly well, despite the fact that this is otherwise a potential alien invasion. Koji gets out, and everyone's like, oh my god, aliens look like humans, and Danpei thinks Koji is like an alien setting a trap for him. But anyway, then the professor and his men show up. They all gather around in a circle and introduce each other at the same time. We get this big backstory that after the events of MAXXXX Z and Great MAXXXX, Koji moved to America and went into space research, I guess. And so now piloting the TFO is his deal, and the professor says that apparently the space agency co-owns this ranch with Danpei, and this meeting is less random than it seems because apparently the professor set this all up and just didn't tell Danpei and Hikaru, but Koji knew what he was doing. The professor knew what he was doing. It was just Danpei who had no idea what the hell was going on. Anyway, everyone decides that Koji is not an alien, and Koji is kind of flattered by the fun moment and the misunderstanding of it all. Then Daisuke comes out, and there's this weird, ominous music as the two of them meet. Now, Daisuke wants nothing to do with Koji Kabuto. He says he doesn't have time to meet a guy like him, and some of the scientists are even pissed off that he wasn't at all impressed by the TFO. Koji and the professor go into the research center. They manage to track down the UFO Koji saw earlier, and Koji makes a huge deal out of it, because it is a huge deal. This means aliens are real, and if aliens are real, that's a potential national security threat. He has to wonder if the aliens are going to be peaceful. He has to wonder if, well, now they got to negotiate with these aliens. Otherwise, it could lead to war. So yeah, this is a big moment for Koji Kabuto, and he doesn't want to blow it. Now, cut back to Daisuke, Hikaru, and Danpei chasing some cows. There's some really excellent hand-drawn cow animation here, I gotta give you that. So anyway, Koji comes back to the ranch and he instantly decides that he's going to impress all these foreign people. He's going to instantly break a Mustang because he's a hero and he can do that, right? So they give him a Mustang and he basically tries to put it in a stranglehold or something. It goes extremely hella bad. Koji gets slammed to the ground and the horse goes on a rampage after Koji provoked it so hard. Only Daisuke manages to calm it down because he actually knows how to treat a horse, and this makes Koji look like both an idiot and a huge asshole here. Anyway, so then Koji and the professor are watching the UFO again. Daisuke comes in and says, "This UFO, it's about to attack Earth." And Koji has no idea what the hell's going on. How does Daisuke know this? How serious is the UFO invasion? Anyway, Daisuke just brushes this all off like a total prick. He's a complete asshole to Koji, but at this point he's almost justified because Koji has also been acting like an asshole. But still, Daisuke is fishy. Now, I know that Daisuke is Duke Freed at this point. It's obvious. It's obvious because he knows about aliens. He knows way too much about it, but the show hasn't acknowledged it yet. Anyway, then Daisuke goes outside to sulk. He plays this very angry acoustic guitar song, and he's singing that he doesn't want to pilot the robot. He just stares out into space with hatred. He stares out at the blood-red moon, strumming his guitar. "I don't want to pilot the robot!" And wow, this is our introduction to Duke Freed. He's a very angsty man. Anyway, finally he takes his guitar and he slams it into the ground, and then he starts running like a crazy person through the night, vowing to never pilot the robot again until he collapses into the grass. And when he collapses into the grass, he hallucinates the professor talking to him through drops of water. Hard cut to the space UFO invasion fleet, storming across the sky. They've taken notice of the TFO, and all the aliens agree that the TFO is pure trash. It's trash that the human race should be embarrassed for. It's trash that should have never been built, and it's a cheap knockoff of their superior alien UFOs. Anyway, so the next day there's more UFOs. Ugly cut to Koji, ugly driving a Jeep. He gets into the TFO and Daisuke says, "Don't fuck with those UFOs. You're out of your league." And Koji says Daisuke is a bad son who knows too much about horses and not enough about anything else. Daisuke begs Koji to listen to him. And Koji gives Daisuke the old, "If you tell me not to do something, I'm just going to do it harder because I hate you." And then Koji flies off in the TFO. He flies off to start a negotiation with the UFOs, but it fails. The enemy UFOs immediately start blasting Koji with lasers trying to kill him. Koji is instantly injured, and it's a bad scene. So Daisuke jumps on his motorcycle and starts driving up the road max speed. He drives straight off a cliff, and at this point he screams, "Duke Freed." He screams his true name, and he instantly turns into his true self. He turns into Duke Freed. He wears the clothes of Duke Freed, and then as Duke Freed, he dives straight into the ground. And doing this wakes up Grendizer. And so Grendizer moves to its launch platform. The launch platform was also buried under the ground, but then somehow it docks with the space station, and Grendizer takes off. We hear the music, "Grendizer, go!" And he's flying, he's speeding, he's going so fast, and we get this great fucking song about how great Grendizer is, about how cool Duke Freed is, and how it flies through the air with incredible amounts of violence and rage. Sidebar here. One thing I fucking love about 70s anime is how they'll dedicate an entire 5 minutes of the show to just turn into a full-on music video about how great and powerful the main characters are and how fucking cool they are, and that's what we're getting here. It's pure fucking hype about Grendizer and Duke Freed and how much ass they're about to kick. Anyway, Grendizer flies up, immediately starts murdering the UFOs with his full weapons cache on display. He starts screaming all his attacks, "Space Thunder! Powder Storm!" And instantly, Blackie up in space knows that this is fucking Grendizer, and this means Duke Freed is here on Earth hiding out. So Blackie sends out his strongest space beast monster, the Giru Giru. That's that turtle-looking bastard. It flies down, and Koji knows he's not doing well. As one of the saucer beasts come down, it captures the TFO. Duke does a 360-degree chair spin to separate Grendizer from its phaser, and Grendizer launches into the air. It saves Koji Kabuto. It saves the TFO, because the TFO was slowly about to get crushed into the ground. But no, the saucer beast transforms and turns into a full-ass turtle. Duke quickly runs out. He saves Koji Kabuto, and he tells him, Koji, get the fuck out of here. Your work is done. Your time is over. And Duke Freed looms large over Koji, this literal main character replacement. This literal bigger man in his life. Now at this point, Grendizer and the saucer beast get full on into it. The beast goes underground. Grendizer sees where it's going. It uses all its moves. Duke grabs the saucer beast and he cuts its fucking arms off. But the saucer beast can still turn into a UFO, so it does. And at this point, it takes Grendizer's full weapon cache to kill this thing. He uses every weapon he has on it. And one by one, he rips pieces off of it. Eventually, he lands a hit with a double Harken, cuts the saucer beast clean in half. But even then, it's not over, because even then, the head of the saucer beast is still coming at him, trying to kill him. So he fires off one final rocket punch at the head, blows it the hell up. He redocks back into his phaser, flies the hell away. Blackie doesn't give a shit because he knows Duke Freed, and he knows what he's going to do. He's going to get out his old videotapes and watch for videos of Grendizer's weaknesses and plot a better plot next week. Koji, meanwhile, returns to the farm. Now he has a broken arm. Hikaru gives him a lot of shit for not listening to Daisuke because Daisuke knew what was up. And he gives Daisuke the absolute dirtiest look when he comes back because he fucking knows. He instantly knows Daisuke is Duke Freed, and they have this like world's finest Batman v Superman moment. He looks Duke Freed straight in the eyes and asks him, Duke Freed, why were you piloting this robot? And Duke Freed just gaslights him, saying like, I don't pilot a fucking robot. What are you talking about? And Koji's like, dude, I saw your face. I saw your eyes. I know what you were doing. And Duke Freed just drives away as fucking ominous music plays. Holy shit! Wow. What a fucking show. That was so much different than I was expecting. Wow. Okay, so this episode puts into light so many different like interactions between all these characters. Now let's just start by talking about Koji Kabuto. Koji Kabuto was the main character of MAXXXX Z, and this show introduces him once again as the main character here, but slowly and surely it's leading him down this rabbit hole of this like fallen hero who no longer like can handle the situation he's in. And that, I mean, I knew what Grendizer was about. I knew what that was. I knew that's kind of Koji's arc in this show, but this first episode really sets this like grim and awful tone for 70s Koji Kabuto. Like, this man saved the Earth. This man killed Dr. Hell, and what does he have to show for it? He's a 25-year-old washed-up loser. He's lost MAXXXX Z, seemingly lost his girlfriend, seemingly lost everyone he loves, and now he lives in Hokkaido as a 2-bit pilot for this weak-ass TFO. He's working a sad day job for this generic science research society, and I gotta say, Koji Kabuto is washed up. This first episode is just about one thing, and that's that Koji Kabuto has like lost his path in life. Now Duke Freed, on the other hand, Duke Freed is presented as a fucking like absolute monster of a man. I was so taken in by the way he's presented. Not only is he presented as being smarter, cooler, faster than Koji, literally presented in some shots as being a bigger man than Koji. Like, damn, like I heard the show like really likes to humiliate and punish Koji, but I didn't expect it to be on this like such literal level, because the framing here is just like straight up like evocative of like Silver Age comics. Like, you got some like real like Ditko Kirby vibes here with like the framing on Duke Freed as how he's just like this monolith of a man who's like the better man here. And I'm really shocked at the pure animosity between him and Koji right from the start. Whenever they interact with each other, the music that plays is just so fucking grim. Daisuke Uman, like, he's almost presented like a villain. At the very least, you know he's a liar with a hidden agenda. And I'm kind of surprised that Koji instantly sees through his bullshit. That was kind of like refreshing here, because it proves that Koji's like too smart to be tricked by Duke Freed, but he just has to live with like Duke Freed's lies now. Nonetheless, like, yeah, I can tell from like the opening and the ending that Duke Freed is clearly a hero, but the show is kind of playing it like he isn't, which is interesting to me. Thirdly, I'll also say Danpei gets a good amount of screen time in this first episode, mostly just setting up that he's the comedy lead of the show and the show is not going to be that serious. but also using him as an exposition device to like fully explain like the deal with the alien invasion scenario, like how big a deal it is. 70s anime. You just need a chaotic fuck up character to keep it interesting for the kids. Honestly, the show has a pretty solid cast. I'm also looking for like how Hikaru develops because she's pretty cute in the first episode. I'm just overall taken back at how much Koji Kabuto sucks in the show. Like, I expected it, I heard about it, but actually seeing how far this man has fallen is really kind of sad. Anyway, let me know if you checked out this whole video, and let me know if you guys want me to review episode 2, because there's a lot of episodes of Grendizer, and I think I could keep this up for a while. But I'm excited to see like how fast it takes Koji to like figure out who Duke Freed is, because he already kind of knows who he is, and he knows Daisuke is lying to him. So I'm kind of like curious at like how much the animosity between them is going to build, and I'm here for that. All right, I'm Buster Green, and maybe not, I'll review Grendizer, the whole 70s version, and I'm definitely looking forward to reviewing Grendizer U whenever that's out. So yeah, stay tuned. Thank you.